Hi friends, welcome to another episode of That Gardener channel. Today we're going to be talking about our beautiful jasmine. Before we get started, I wanted to show you guys our really beautiful hibiscus that have been blooming. This is really our most favorite variety. If you look at how beautiful and lush it looks, and the color is just amazing, peach color. We have few of the blooms coming up. There's some of the buds here as well, and then you can see another beautiful bloom here. So we are super excited to see them all blooming. So friends, coming back to our jasmine plant here, this jasmine plant has been with us for 2 years and it's at the peak of its blooming season now in the summer. We're in Kenya in southern Africa, so we have opposite seasons of the Western world, as you might be aware of, and we are currently going into our summer season. We are actually having a serious drought in Kenya after several years of good rains. But it's really a sad thing because everything is quite drying, and that's why we haven't posted videos recently, because our garden is looking super bare. But we are doing our best to make sure things survive and get through this dry season. But anyway, with this dry season, the jasmine has actually survived really well. It's thriving, as you can see. It's grown really well, and summer is the time when these jasmine flowers do the best in terms of blooming. And this particular jasmine variety that we are growing here, it's called the star jasmine, and the reason is because of this pinwheel or star shaped flowers. And of course, jasmine is very well known for its fragrant white flowers. Any variety that you would grow, so I highly encourage you to grow it if you like nice fragrant flowers in your garden space around your house. It's perfect to grow. And all the jasmine flowers, they love sun, so you need at least 5 to 6 hours of sun for them to do well. Otherwise, what you'll find is that they won't bloom very well. You might get some foliage, but they might not bloom. If you get entire 10 hours or 11 hours of sun in the peak summer, you would have to definitely water more and they might burn off. So it's good to make sure that they're not in the complete sun for 10 to 11 hours either. The optimal rate of sun that's good for jasmine blooming and for their survival is between 5 to 10 hours of sun, and to also make sure that you give moderate water as well. They love water, but not. And you also want to make sure that you regulate their watering based on the weather as well. So during the winter, you want to just give a very little amount of water every 2 weeks, while in the summer, peak summer, you want to give water every 5 to 7 days. However, they love to have very much of a nice soil that is very much porous, and to make sure that the water is not stagnant. They don't like to be in boggy water environment. The roots, they actually catch disease really easily, so it's good to avoid that as well. Now, the nice thing with having jasmine plant is they are very much drought tolerant. As I said before, Kenya, we're going through a drought season. We are not getting as much rain as we should. However, these jasmine plants, they survive really well. Even with no rains or watering for 2 weeks, they will still survive really well. But after 2 to 3 weeks, you can see the signs of deprivation as well. So you'll see that the leaves start to turn color, they start to slouch down, and then you might also see all the flowers start to drop as well. And so it's really good to make sure that you try to keep them healthy and water at least at the minimum every 2 weeks. So they are quite drought resistant in general. Now, the other thing that's really interesting for the jasmine plants is, of course, these fragrant flowers, which are really nice, and they have this sweet smell. And they do really well if you want to use them for tea, for salads, or you want to use them perhaps for making incense oil. They do really well. Or if you just want to use them for bees as well, they're excellent. And what we use them also primarily for is for our fence here, growing against the gate here as a fence. So jasmine plants are actually perfect container plants. They do really well in containers and they can grow up to 12 feet. And they are really winding and somewhat of twining plants as well, which is really nice for using it for fencing, for boundary walls. We use it here for the garden entrance from the main entrance, and it's perfect for that because you can really use it to climb across on the gates. You can use it for boundary walls, you can use it for screening walls. It's actually perfect for that. So we have one jasmine growing here on the gate, and the other one we have it growing against our beautiful monstera tree there. So it does really well if you train it nicely. It can grow on anything and you can shape it and prune it accordingly as well. You don't need to worry about pruning it too much. They grow super fast and they do really well in terms of fast growth over time. And so you don't have to really worry about pruning it if you accidentally prune it too much. And you can also prune it according to the shape you want. Pruning is not necessary, but if you want to prune it to the shape you want, and you can also teach it to climb the walls or the gates like we have done here, it's actually perfect plant for that. So jasmine plants are actually really great if you want to have also something of a perennial variety. So they grow year after year. You don't have to worry about buying new plants over and over again. You can even use their cuttings and replant if you want to spread them across your property, your garden, and they come back year after year. The only changes you're going to see is the flowers will drop, however, in the winters and in the fall. However, you'll see that the foliage actually stays most of the time. The foliage will definitely stay as long as you keep watering them adequately. And you will see that going into the summer, the flowers again start to bloom as well, and it starts to look beautiful like this one. So fertilizers are not really necessary for the jasmine plants. We have never actually provided any fertilizer to our jasmine. The only thing we provide is very good compost from our own garden, and you could add manure, which is also not necessary. They do love phosphorus if you're pushing for a lot of blooms, but as you can see here, we didn't really do that. And just with compost and good porous soil and water, they have been doing significantly well, as you can see here. So that's really it, guys, for today's video. I hope you enjoyed our video and you enjoyed looking at these beautiful jasmine flowers, and I wish I could have shared the nice smell of these jasmine flowers. It's just really, really breathtaking. In the morning, as you come out, you're having a cup of tea, you can come and have a nice smell of these flowers. You can use them even for the tea itself, and it's just wonderful sweet smell to start your day with. And I hope you also start to grow jasmine flowers if you haven't yet. And please feel free to comment and like our video if you enjoyed our video. If you're a first-time viewer, please do subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate any of the support that we can get. Thank you so much, and hope you are keeping safe and well, and see you next time, friends. Goodbye. Put two of these beautiful jasmine by the entrance to our living room, which is also a nice idea, so that you have nice fragrance every time you're sitting in the living room, you're entering the house. So it's also a very good option in addition to putting it around the fence and gates.